Brian, I guess that MJF had just said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of wallowing in the cesspool of obscurity that is the AEW programs where everything looks the same. So I'm going to go to Mexico and be the biggest heel in fucking wrestling. And this is a classic example of what a difference in presentation and environment can do for the same guy. I mean, MJF has been not only overexposed in terms of that they've had him do a variety of things that were detrimental to his overall aura with the fans over the course of the past few years with the booking. He's had to work with opponents that he had to try to make by just doing interviews because the booking didn't support them either. He's had to muddle his way through a lot of goofy issues and associate with people that was detrimental to, again, his presentation. But he goes to Mexico, of all places, and is the top heel, becomes the champion, and then loses the belt to their most over babyface in front of a sellout crowd on their big anniversary show, their version of WrestleMania, and tears the house down and has the consensus best match on the show while doing like a total of 4 dangerous things and not using one stick of furniture or a flamethrower. If that don't tell you what difference the presentation and story and opponent can make in even a great talented guy showing it or just being part of the fucking scenery, that's it, isn't it?
I'm really glad you watched this. Maybe the best thing to come out of the AEW CMLL relationship has been the MJF and Arena Mexico run. They were teasing things on TV, I guess before, was it Forbidden Door or whatever, with MJF and Mistico. And it really didn't click. It was kind of in the middle of everything with the Hurt Syndicate. Mistico, unfortunately, is just not that over here unless you're in a town where there's a population that is familiar with him from CMLL. But in his environment, he's the biggest babyface in wrestling.
Yeah.
And MJF has been having, I would say, even though there's not a lot of promos attached to it, maybe the best heel run of anyone in wrestling this year in Mexico, where he deserves a ton of credit. His opponents, and in this case, we'll talk about this match, Mistico deserve credit. But so much of it's the energy and the fans. And I mean, it's almost like real heat. It's something you don't really see that much anymore. But let's talk about whatever you think about all this.
Well, and that's the thing, first of all, is it's part of the package but you can't just say, okay, because Mystico's over for his audience and his environment, you can put anybody in there. And the reason why MJF works, number one, American heel style works in Lucha Libre in Mexico because they understand it. It makes sense. They don't have to do promos. MJF doesn't have to do a lot of promos because MJF is one of the few guys who can still be a heel, who understands how to be a heel in the ring, how to cheat and take advantage and display contempt and everything with his body language, where he doesn't need to, tell him verbally. But the thing is, a lot of people go, oh, Cornette, he hates the lucha. No, I still think Mystico's work is the shits, and I'll explain more in detail why I think that and why that's true and why it doesn't matter here. I don't hate luchadors. I hate luchadors trying to be foisted off on television in America when they ain't going to get over and it just gets in the goddamn way. Lucha Libre is used to the gaga, and the gaga is not off-putting to any of their fans because there's always been the gaga. And the style has not changed drastically at the core of it in all these years. So it always still has been more of a looser style where the American audience that was used to watching shit at the same time in America in the 60s, 70s would go, that's faker than shit. In this environment, lucha works because it's the lucha environment. And then I don't believe that an American babyface could get over anywhere near the level of Mistico or the top luchador faces, the Technicos. But you can take an American heel and put him in that environment, especially now, because they hate Americans. And you can have him play that up. And then if he can perform in the ring, then you can get heat. And then that American style works in lucha in Mexico. And it's a different animal when you're trying to bring something from that culture here, just like when you're trying to bring certain things from here to Japan or certain things from Japan here. But it's as simple as that. This is their environment, and MJF's the guest star, and he's going in and he's working more like an old school territory heel than anybody else in the world, and it works. And it was refreshing to watch. I have no idea what the fuck was going on
the manager
around. Well, just
Abraham
because
Lincoln.
the clip that I saw, or the match that I saw the whole thing, but it was all in Spanish. So I don't know why that. I can imagine the concept of why MJF has a manager dressed as Abraham Lincoln waving an American flag. I don't know who Mistico's babyface masked manager was. I don't know why Mistico's music starts with Undertaker's bong repeated like fucking 3 or 4 times and then going into that horrible ass Air Supply music that they play for him, but the people sing it, the whole building.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
They're sold, what do they hold? 17,000 people, whatever, they're fucking sold out. And so the presentation, the crowd was hot and you could hear them, but the audio was muffled. Maybe we're just spoiled now with production up here, but the announcers were real loud. The ring noise was kind of low. The crowd was muddy, so you could hear them yelling, but not like individually crisp things. Have I described that correctly?
I think so. Yeah.
But nevertheless, MJF started he jump started it, interrupted the music, right? And instantly fucking chucks him out to the floor and posts him, and Mistico gets juice. And then he's got the heat going from the start. And again, he kept on the guy. He gave him hope spots. It was a nice pace where the people could understand it. He could heal the people at the same time, and they're shocked at seeing the guy bleeding already. And Mistico, when he'd fire back up or what, his work is the shits. You can see right through it, but they don't care because he's over in that environment for that audience. They love him, so they ain't seeing it. And as I said, MJF did 4 dangerous things. He did a goddamn cartwheel dive over the top rope and stuck it and would have landed on his feet. But when the guy fell, he fucking tripped MJF. And MJF almost went face first into the railing. But he did the spot where he hits the guy in the face with his dick. And that made Mistico pissed off and he fired up, but MJF stopped him with a thumb in the eye. Just the little things, but at the same time, Mistico's pumping the blood and his mask is torn. And then they did a great
visual. It was a really great visual.
Because, you can see the blood dripping from the guy's. If he hadn't been bleeding, his mask was open enough that you could almost see what he looked like, but because the blood was covering it, it still, it worked. And they did the big yay boo, and Mistico made a comeback. And again, I wrote Mystico's timing is terrible. MJF has to wait on him, but he's waiting on him fine, and he's there for everything. And then Mystico did the big dive, got the big pop. And then they did a spot where, again, I swear to God, nobody saw it, but it's driving me crazy about this guy, and it shows how smooth MJF is. Mystico hit the big leaping Mexican destroyer, right? And gets a big pop, and MJF bounces up and takes a big bump and lands and squirms on his back to where when Mystico covers him, 1, 2, he can get his leg on a rope. And when Mystico goes to cover him, the idiot hooks MJF's leg and pulls it away from the rope. So MJF had to kick out on his big move instead of getting a foot on the rope. See, Mystico fucked himself. But the people are chanting Mystico, Mystico. And then, what did I say? 4 dangerous things. This is number 2 or number 3. MJF hit a package pile driver on the guy on the apron of the ring perfectly. And part of it has to do with Mystico's fucking 170 pounds or whatever he is. You can do that. But boom. And then MJF is like telling the fat referee, count him out, count him out. And they milk the count. And now the guy's bleeding and he's been dropped on his head. And it's a 20 count down there. And finally, he beat the count just the nick of time, got a big pop. And now MJF is shit. Holy God. And MJF picks him up, leaping tombstone. 1, 2, he kicked out. Holy shit. And that's the death blow in Mexico. So people are going crazy, and now we're there. It's been 20 minutes, whatever. The guy's covered in blood. He's drenched. You've hit him with a couple big false finishes. Now let's go. MJF gets his fucking ring, and old Honest Abe draws the referee. But as MJF goes to swing, Mystico nut shots MJF. And small packages him. 1, 2, MJF kicks, but gets a big pop. And Mystico goes to the top, but MJF crotches him, tries for a tombstone off the turnbuckle, but Mystico foils it. Hurricane Rana's him, knocks manager Honest Abe off the apron, spins into the armbar on MJF, and MJF tapped out, and the people went, Happy New Year. And just fucking jumped up and down, screaming and clapping and fucking celebrate.
I love the way they did it too, with him just quickly grinding on the arm. MJF tapped. They didn't wait too long. It was kind of perfectly timed, quick.
Yes, because that's the way. You don't lay there in the fucking hold for a minute, stationary, motionless, and then tap. That's goddamn flatter to fucking fart and fucking 4 o'clock. You get while the people are up and this stuff is going on. Oh my God, he's got me. Oh shit. Boom, boom, boom. But anyway, when he's got a baby face that's over and the title was on the line, and their title means something down there. It's not like here where they've got 100 of them, I guess. And then it's an amazing performance.
It was one of the big matches on the anniversary show, traditionally the biggest show of the year for CMLL. It may have been my favorite match of the year. I mean, it's in the conversation. Again, not saying Mystico's a great worker. He isn't.
But it was different, and it was wrestling.
Yeah.
That's why, that it could be, it's one of my top, because there was legitimate audience reaction instead of singing they sang the song, but they only sang the song of the babyface, and then they quit singing. And it was people working, having a wrestling match. There were no tables that they had to go through. Didn't have 15 chairs. They worked the count outs of the outside the ring business to add drama instead of just the referee standing there with their dick in their hand because they were on the floor for 5 minutes at a time. It was wrestling. And that's the kind of shit MJF puts together when he has something to work with. And that's why everybody's, Cornette always blows MJF. He's sucked for the past few years. Yes, I've been saying he's been sucking for the past few years. It's not his fault. He can do it. Give him something to work with. The reason why he stinks for the past few years is because of the bucket of shit that he's stuck in.
Yeah, and unfortunately that taints the way a lot of people see him, because we even hear from some people that it's crazy. It's like, he's never been a good promo. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's been the best promo in the company.
You know what? They're tired of the one he's been doing because it's the only thing he can do now, because they just have make him make up his own shit about fucking nothing.
He's not a referee, and he is over on their show. But this is kind of like Sonny Fargo going from being the referee to causing the Mid-South Coliseum to go apeshit.
Yeah.
Within a couple of days. You see this, and again, it's not a one-off. He's been going down there. AEW should just put that footage on Dynamite. Those matches uncut. If you really want to make it pleasurable, the Spanish commentary, not your commentators. And just run that stuff. The show they did from Arena Mexico is like their best ratings. Just air this stuff. This is the MJF that we miss. This is the way MJF should be presented. I mean, I don't know about honestly.
Yeah, well,
the manager.
Show it. Yeah, no, they need no that guy. Who the fuck thought they would have found somebody look like Abe Lincoln in Mexico? But if they showed this match on AEW television, it would get a bigger number than their standard shit, because they would, people would know that Dick the Boozer and the Boar Horseman weren't going to wander out, but also it would get MJF over more to the American audience to see, for them to see him have this match, even if he loses, than for him to beat somebody on this fucking AEW show.
Remember Watts, I think it was, one weekend instead of the Sunday show, or maybe a couple of weeks, they aired Flair Steamboat or Flair Terry Funk, and it did better numbers than WCW TV was doing.
Yeah.
They should do that. MJF in Mexico, and just air the arc of everything he's done in Arena Mexico. It's better than the stuff in AEW. And again, you see a guy presented like that, getting those kind of reactions, Mistico or MJF, it makes them seem like a much bigger star than they even are, and they're big stars.
But no, we need more time for the flamethrower, Brian.
See, that's the
what
thing.
We need on the
if
show.
this was AEW, the blood that happened at the beginning, which worked, and again, the visual, I've always been a mark for the visual you used to see in the magazines of the masked guy with a cut in a mask. You could almost see who they are, and they're bleeding everywhere. It worked for this match. If it was AEW, there would have been a few table spots. Probably would have been a run into the barricade. You know, they would have gone too far. And you don't need...
Four other people would have bled before they saw the main babyface bleed.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not even just about the blood, like, oh, their matches are so bloody. No. They set up why he was bleeding. It made sense. It worked here for this. They didn't do any superfluous, nonsensical violence. And AEW, they would have. MJF, I mean, we just saw the thumbtack match. You know, same week we saw the thumbtack match.
They were 12 hours apart, come to think of it, because he had the match on the one night in Mexico, and then so he had one of the best matches we've seen all year on Friday night, and then Saturday afternoon came back to AEW that pays him more money and had that shitty garbage thing with Briscoe, poor fella.
And I'm not kidding. They really should just license that footage from CMLL and air it as a special instead of Dynamite one week and see what happens.
What do you think the chances are, Brian?
The chance of Tony Khan doing the right thing or airing that stuff and showing MJF as a star?
Yes.
Probably unlikely. There's a lot of Death Riders footage that has to be aired, and the Young Bucks got to do their comedy. And
well, I'm just thinking that if he actually did, since most people didn't expect it, then maybe that'd be something we could get into on Prize Picks. You know, our friends over at Prize Picks, the daily fantasy that lots of people like to have, the daily fantasy sports app that they get on and play and just brings fulfillment to their loins. If they had an option on Prize Picks where you could say, what number of smart things is Tony Khan going to do this week? More or less than 2? But then maybe just, you might be able to make some money. Just a thought. Did you hear about Stacks?
From NXT? No. What happened?
No. From Prize Picks. Prize Picks is now the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. I guess you can just stack him one right on top of each other, I guess. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. Can you imagine these other communist apps that wouldn't let you do things freely? And you can follow, this is also new, you can follow the other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Boom, plagiarism at your fingertips. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just somebody whose picks you like, you can steal those sumbitches.
A celebrity
just
partner?
Take this. Well, yes, some people have celebrity partners.
Me and Scarlett Johansson over here are going to be on Prize Picks. How you doing?
Yeah. And then you're stealing her fucking picks. And you hit the follow button and you check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks, and then you know what to do. And you wait till they're not looking, and you jump in there and you steal their shit and you make money on it.
Let's not go too far while I'm laughing over here. But once again, Prize Picks, if you do have picks, this is the place to go, and maybe you'll get a cash prize or a prize or whatever we're allowed to say.
Yes, and yeah, there's cash involved in this in some kind of fashion. You daily fantasy fantasizers, you know what we're talking about. And again, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just somebody whose pricks you like, or you like their picks.
Yeah.
One of those things.
I like your prick.
Pick those pricks. And prize picks.
How did this degenerate into such a mess? Prize Picks, ladies and gentlemen.
Prize Picks, they offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. How do they pay you? I don't see that there. They pay you in green stamps. But you can join millions of users, so apparently most people aren't upset about it. And sign up
it's
for
not
America's
green stamps. Let's just say for the record, it's not green stamps. You'll be paid in the denomination that is
currency of the realm.
That is right.
That is a part of your agreement. Join millions of users and just be a user. Start using every day until you quit using. Sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app by downloading the Prize Picks app today and use the code JCE. And you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is the code JCE to get $50 in lineups when you play $5. And that sounds like a good deal to me. Prize Picks, it's good to be right, but it's even better to be the king.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just added that last part. But it's good to be right. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.